Good afternoon, everyone. Recorded by Richter here, back with a brand new music segment for you. So I just wrapped up the Detroit month in April, and I wanted to make the announcement before I even get into my best of April songs list. And that is that I am just going to go ahead and continue along with highlighting Detroit artists and Detroit music history segments, because I had so much fun doing it, and I started to overwhelm myself a bit. So I was trying to cram all this stuff into April, and then I'm realizing, why am I stressing out over this deadline that I've created for myself? And so I'm not going to do that anymore, and I'm going to extend my Detroit artist stuff out for the entirety of this channel. I really believe in my heart that Detroit has some of the most gifted and untapped talent that this country has to offer, this world has to offer, honestly. And some of them are making some noise here and there, but a lot of them are still local to the scene and trying to get on. And so I think that that's my responsibility, to help these artists whatever way that I can, with however big my reach gets. And so I'm going to continue on doing that. Obviously, I'm not going to be exclusive to Detroit. There's artists that I love from all over the world, so I'm definitely going to cover all of those people, but I'm going to continue hammering home and trying to uplift my community of Detroit, because I think that it's something that's important to do and we get overlooked a lot. So I'm going to do that. Before I get into this list of my favorite songs of April, I would like to first mention my very favorite thing that happens in April, and that would be the birth of my girlfriend. I'm gonna keep her name and all that stuff private because she's not an internet person at all. So I'm gonna protect her privacy. But my lady is my best friend. She is amazing. Her birthday was just the other day, so I wanna say happy birthday to her. She is so much more than a girlfriend. That's like an undersell. She literally is like the perfect match for me. I can be as weird as I want around her, and she only encourages it. I could be doing a crazy random dance move in the kitchen, and she's not gonna give me a side eye or a weird look. She'll 9 times out of 10 join in with me and be just as weird as me. And I love that so much about her. She actually made that amazing Squabble Up Kendrick piece for me that I got on my wall over there, and she gave me this amazing early birthday gift, this PG Lang hat. She's gotten really into the Kendrick rabbit hole with me, and so it's been a lot of fun to kind of teach her about Kendrick's history and stuff. So I just wanted to mention that before I keep going. But anyways, let's get into this list, because I've got about 20 songs, so I'm just gonna briefly go over them, because this video will be an hour long if I spend the time that I want to on each of them. But just trust me in saying that if they made this list, they're solid, and I think you should probably go check them out. So the first one that I have on this list is Detroit rapper Sam Be Yourself. If you're unfamiliar with Sam, I made an entire artist highlight segment on him that you can check out on this channel. He's got a new project out called More Raps right now, and there's a song towards the end called Stressed Blessed. And these are my favorite type of hip-hop records, the introspective ones, the ones that are really truth-telling and telling the world how you feel. Because there's a million songs about being rich and having luxurious things and living the rapper lifestyle, but there's not enough songs. Well, there is, but they don't get enough highlight of the struggle that you go through on that ascension up, and all the inner turmoil that goes on in your head while you're trying to make it in your creative pursuits. Because it's hard. I know, I get it. It is, you constantly are going through this. Am I good enough? Can I do it? All those things constantly are beaten into your head, and to push through them takes a lot of courage. And so I love songs like this. So shout out to Sam for that one. Next one, completely different style of music, and that would be out of Bon Iver, which is a band led by Eau Claire, Wisconsin's Justin Vernon, who has just a very angelic, beautiful voice, who writes really beautiful songs. A lot of his music, it's not acoustic because there's a lot of digital production in it, but it's usually on the softer and more downplayed side, a lot slower, and the songs are usually carried by his vocal performance and the songwriting skills. There's not like a ton going on instrumentation wise. So, but he has this song off his 6th studio album called Walk Home that I just think is a really, really pretty song. And it's nice to hear him because it's been a little bit since his last project. I think it's been 5 years since his last project. So it felt really nice to hear his voice. And I've been lucky enough to see Bon Iver live, and it was kind of a magical experience, I'd have to say. But moving along, we have Valerie June at number 3, and these are not in any kind of ranking order. I just kind of listed them off. Valerie June with Superpower at number 3, which, if you're not unfamiliar with Valerie June is a black country folk artist from Tennessee. But this new album is a lot different than her usual stuff. There's a lot more instrumentation going on. And this new track, Superpower, has a bit of a psychedelic blues rock vibe to it. And so that's what kind of sold me on it. Almost in the production kind of reminds me of the stuff that Black Keys were doing around the Attack and Release era of the Black Keys, when it was that real cool kind of bluesy garage rock sound. But yeah, that's kind of a little bit of the vibe that she's got going on. And Valerie June's vocal performances are always like so gorgeous. She has that beautiful southern twang that like fits so perfectly into the music that she creates. So I'm just a giant fan of hers, have been for a long time now. Would love to see her live. Haven't had the opportunity yet, but on the list. Moving on to number 4, we got Bruiser Wolf and Nicholas Craven. Bruiser Wolf is a Detroit rapper who's part of the Bruiser Brigade. If you're unfamiliar, that's led by Danny Brown. He's got like, Bruiser, Z-Loopers, Fat Ray. There's a bunch of different people on Bruiser Brigade. But Bruiser Wolf is having a moment right now. He is starting to kind of make some noise. And Nicholas Craven is who produced the song. Bruiser's from Detroit. Nicholas is from Montreal, Canada. So they made the cover art the Ambassador Bridge, which, if you're unfamiliar with the Ambassador Bridge, it's what connects Detroit to Canada that you can get across the border to. So I thought that was a really dope cover art. It's like kind of like a dark at night picture of the Ambassador Bridge. So fire. I just think that nobody sounds like Bruiser Wolf, and that's a testament to the whole Bruiser Brigade. These guys are so great at originality and creativity. There's nobody that sounds like them. They make music so left of center, but it works every time to me. I'm just like, that's how it was for Danny with me. I did not really enjoy his rapping voice right away. It took a little bit to grow on me, and Bruiser's kind of similar. It could be strange to some people, but listen to what he's saying. He packs so much into so little. Like, he can give you so much game in 8 bars. Like, it's crazy. So I just think that Bruiser is doing amazing things, and I'm such a fan of the stuff that is coming out of Detroit from a hip-hop standpoint. Moving on, we got track 5 is by an UK R&B artist named Etta Bond. The song is called Make Me Cry. And I don't know a ton about Etta Bond other than I got hip to her from listening to Sir, the R&B singer Sir on TDE. He's got this song called Something New from a few projects back that featured her. And so I started following her on Tidal or whatever. And so when she drops new music, they pop up and I see it. And so I really enjoyed this track, Make Me Cry by Etta Bond. Moving on to some hip hop, we have JID at number 6. JID is a Dreamville artist, and he's from Atlanta. He is one of the artists that a lot of the hip hop world kind of sees as like the next one up. You know, there's all this talk about the big 3, Kendrick, Drake, and Cole, and who could be the next big 3? Is it JID? Is it Denzel Curry? Is it these guys? This guy, Doechii? You know, all these people that are prospects. And JID is a person that gets thrown around a lot on the internet because his rapping skills are just unbelievable. I really believe in JID a lot. I think that he is gonna really mess the game up with his next project. Sorry, I'm trying not to curse, so sometimes it takes a little mental focus. But his song is called Work. It's the lead single from his highly anticipated next project. And I just think that this one is kind of like, let me just showcase off my rapping skills real quick in case people forgot, because it is just bars deluxe. And I love that about JID. He can go toe-to-toe with people like Eminem. We saw it on M's last project. I think that speaks volumes to, you know, if you aren't afraid to get in the booth with M, you got it. You got it from there. Moving on to track 7, we got another TDE artist. They're the newest TDE artist, and that's rapper Ray Vaughn. You know, Doechie's having this crazy run right now on her ascension up, and I feel like Ray Vaughn is gonna come up right behind her for the men in TDE. He put out this new project called The Good, The Bad, and The Dollar Menu, and honestly, I wanted to pick almost the whole album for this list of favorite songs for the month. But instead, because I'm just trying to, you know, keep it a little bit more simple, I went with just one of the tracks, one of the standouts, called Dollar Menu. And Dollar Menu, I don't know if it's exactly an anaphora, which is kind of like a poem or a rhyme scheme that repeats a word or a phrase. And it kind of does it with I only had sleep for dinner. And I just think that's a powerful statement. And it's last night I only had sleep for dinner. I think that's a powerful statement. And so like the first half of the track kind of like details the struggle, and then the beat switches and he just goes ham and starts rapping kind of on some braggadocious type of energy. And man, the balance between the two just serve as such an awesome track. I really think that Ray Vaughn made something really special with this album. So if you haven't heard of Ray Vaughn yet, TDE, man, they're just the greatest label as far as artist development goes, and letting these guys really get into their creative flow. Because Ray is, I mentioned Kendrick's Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers a lot as an album that touched on difficult topics that made rappers feel more comfortable to tell the truth and be in their own skin. And I feel like Ray is a result of that with this project. He really touches on some personal, deep stuff. And I commend him for it, and I applaud him for it. So shout out to Ray Vaughn. I'm going to be paying attention to everything you drop from now on. That's for damn sure. Moving on, we got Samara Sin with Bad Brain on number 8. She's a Tennessee artist that's been putting out music since roughly around 2019-ish, but she's just now kind of starting to get moving around the internet and stuff. She's from Tennessee, and you can hear the southern draw in her raps, but it's not off-putting. It's like, it's real dope. It's almost kind of like the way Kirby sings. I don't know, it's hard to explain. It's just got that dope draw to it, and I think she's making a lot of great stuff. So shout out to Samara Sin. Number 9, one of my favorite MCs of all time, and that's PG Maryland's Odyssey. He has a new EP coming out called En Route on May 30th, and this is a song from that called A Rare Thing. And Odyssey, man, I don't think I've ever heard a bad Odyssey song. Like, literally never. He is so skilled, and he's great with production. His band is phenomenal. He's one of those artists that values his privacy and family life more so than being like a massive star. So he kind of floats in the underground and is comfortable there, but he's so dope. Moving on, we have another PG County artist who is on the newer side of things. He's really young. I think he's only like 21 years old. His name is Red Veil, who's been making some noise lately. He was on Danny Brown and JPEG Mafia's Scaring the Hose project. He's got a song called Square One that I think is really strong, and I think that he's gonna definitely make some noise as he continues putting out music. Moving on, Droog made my list last month, and now he's making it again this month with a song with Count D Bass called Caddy. Count D Bass is a underground veteran rapper from PA who's been around since the early 90s. And if you're unfamiliar, Droog is a Ukrainian-born but a New York-based rapper who is another one of those, you know, students of doom where he could just rap for days, drops projects constantly, and they're always good. Shout out Droog. Number 12, we have Damo Genesis and Smoke DZA. Damo Genesis comes from Odd Future. Smoke DZA is out of New York. Two of my favorites. I think they did this great little East Coast, West Coast blend on this song called Sunsets Over Inglewood. And those two, you kind of know what you're gonna get. It's kind of got that chill back, smoking vibe to it, kind of a jazzy production. Always amazing too. These guys hardly ever drop anything bad. 13 from one of my newer favorite R&B artists, and that's Leon Thomas featuring Haley out of Haley and Chloe, called Rather Be Alone. I read today that Leon Thomas got his start on Broadway as a kid, which makes sense, and then he moved to Nickelodeon, and so it kind of makes sense to me why he's such an incredible performer. He's seasoned. He's cut his teeth since childhood. And, E and I, my podcast partner, we saw him perform live at the Roots Picnic last summer, and he was one of our favorite sets the weekend. Leon Thomas is absolutely unbelievable live. He's got a great band. He plays guitar. He sings so well live. Like, there's a lot of R&B artists that, like, kind of phoning in the singing these days, rely on auto-tune and stuff. This man doesn't have to rely on that at all. He's incredible. Haley also was a child star as well, and she's now kind of come into her own. She was on TV shows, Grownish, I think, and then she was obviously most recently the mermaid in the live action Little Mermaid, but she's an incredible performer as well, a songwriter, so shouts to her. Number 14 is a track out of a band that my girl and I are going to see for my birthday on May 13th here in Detroit, and that's Bad Bad Not Good. They are a Canadian jazz band who they also dip their toes into the hip hop world. They've got an album with Ghostface Killah. They work with hip hop artists and R&B artists all the time, and they are just one of the best live shows I've ever seen as well. And so they have this new song called Found a Light, Beale Street, which kind of feels like an homage to the very famous Beale Street out of Memphis, Tennessee, where a lot of great blues music was born. Moving on, we have Kip Stone, who is more of an underground rapper. You definitely can't find a ton of information. He's kind of like a budding up-and-coming rapper out of Cleveland, Ohio, and I think he's a very, very skilled artist, and he has a new one out called Blue Collar Freestyle that I think is very strong. Then moving on to a Colombian American artist who kind of makes, I would almost say, like psychedelic R&B music, because a lot of her music definitely leans in that spacey direction. But Kali Uchis, man, she just drops a lot of fantastic music. And this new one is ILYSMIH, I Love You So Much It Hurts, which is a beautiful tribute to her daughter. She recently had a daughter with Don Toliver, and this is her tribute to her daughter, and I think it's a really pretty, spacey, almost like old school sound. It almost sounds like it comes out of like the 50s maybe. I got a few more left and then we'll be out of here. The new project, which I have actually right here, entitled The Black Bolts, out of Tundi from TV on the Radio. Hard to put into words how much I love TV on the radio and how much now I love this project. This Tundi, The Black Bolts project, it's a nice mixed bag. There's some songs that are more digital sounding and more dance driven, and then there's some songs that kind of sound like some post-punk kind of new wave, almost like Joy Division influenced, and that's the one I picked to put on this list. It's called Pin Stack. I just think it's a really cool production, and I like the topics that Tundi touches on here, so definitely go check out The Black Bolts by Tundi. It's a fantastic project. He's out of New York, by the way, or the TV on the Radio as a band was, at least. And then staying in that kind of band space, I have one of my newer favorite bands. They're kind of like a post-punk that I got hip to from Queens of the Stone Age. They were on tour with Queens of the Stone Age, so I started kind of paying attention to their music a little bit. It kind of almost is in a similar vein to like a Parquet Court. It's kind of that post-punk type of music. And this is Viagra Boys. The song is called A Man Made of Meat. They're a Swedish post-punk band, which I didn't even know. I thought they were American, quite honestly. But I like them because a lot of their music is like lyrically satire or like making fun of different things about society, and they don't take themselves seriously, but they also do a great job of calling out the hypocrisy in things. And I don't think there's enough of that. I think like great humor, when done to make you see, like I just said, the hypocrisy in things or the silliness behind the way we do things, is amazing for me. I'm pretty new to them, so I would like to spend some more time with their project, but that track, A Man Made of Meat, is great, and it's very funny. And Then finally, completely vibe switch from that. The final track I have on here is from another child star grown up, and that's Coco Jones, who makes R&B music, very much adult R&B music now though. She is not a child star anymore, but she did come from the Disney World. But she has a song off her new project called Keep It Quiet that I think is really well done. It's the opening track on her new album, and I think that she did a great job with it. And this is another really great R&B project. Coco Jones, like I mentioned before, has a more traditional, like with the Leon Thomas thing, has like a more of a traditional sounding R&B vocal performance. She doesn't have to rely on the bells and whistles either. Like, she can sing. She's a real deal singer. So I highly suggest checking out Coco Jones. And yeah, that's the 20 tracks I have to present to you guys today. And I'd just like to say happy birthday to my girl again. I don't say my girl out of some like possession type of thing. I'm just trying to keep her privacy with her. So happy birthday to her, and I hope everyone is having a good weekend, and we will be back. I'm definitely doing more Detroit stuff, so that's going to be the focus. I would like to make a longer thing on this Tundi project, the whole thing, but we'll see where I get to. I still got to get to Pink Floyd Part 3, the history of them. So I got a lot of things on my plate, but expect weekly long form stuff and daily shorts from this channel. Yeah, with that, peace.